Hey Matt, how's it going, man?
Everything's good, man. How you doing?
Good, pretty good. How's you and your family doing right now during this quarantine?
Oh, everything's been great. My wife actually went back to work today, so today was her first day back. She's a nurse, so she,
Oh man,
yeah, she works at Children's Hospital. So hopefully she doesn't, come in contact with much. But yeah, she's back to work today. But everything's been good for us. We've had a lot of time to spend together and get our feet underneath us, and yeah, happy about everything.
yeah, that's great, man. How has your daily routine changed since all of this has happened?
Well, it hadn't been much training going on. Obviously, with the little one now, it's been difficult to, we've been taking the precautions, trying to keep that little girl safe. So that's been our number one priority. And now as things are starting to slowly open up and trickle back to normal, hope to get back into the swing of things. But I've done my due diligence to stay in decent shape. I'm actually proud to be waking up under 150 pounds right now. So, but
Hmm.
it's been work. It's been work, but yeah.
Yeah, and how do you feel about the UFC trying to put on events right now? I mean, it's kind of crazy, but I'm glad that they're trying to do some stuff. But how do you feel about Fight Island and UFC 249 this weekend?
It's exciting for me. I look forward to the event. It's been tough, obviously being stuck in the house and then being stuck in the house without live sports. I'm a sports guy. Before I started fighting, I was a fan of the sport, and I'm happy to see things get back to normal. I think Dana is doing a good job of pushing the boundaries. And as soon as I can get back to training, I'm gonna start knocking people's doors down, trying to get back in there my own self. So.
Got it. And the flyweight division is such a mess right now. Cejudo's doing God knows what in the bantamweight division, defending against Cruz on Saturday. And we saw that Figueroa missed weight against Joe, so he didn't get the title. How do you see that division playing out?
Well, I think only time will tell. I think Figueiredo hopefully will figure out his weight cut stuff. I think Brandon Moreno is probably next in line for a shot at
Yeah, for
Figueiredo.
sure.
I'd like to see that fight play out for the title. Um, and it's unfortunate that my fight went the way it did in the last one. Not to take anything away from Pantoja, he did a great job. But we know that if I would have got that fifth winner in a row, I'd be the one who was next. So it's kind of been a difficult pill to swallow here of late, and it's been hard. It's been hard recovering from that last loss. But uh, I'm just ready to get back in there. I've got a bad taste in my mouth, and definitely ready to get back. What's up, MMA fortune teller?
And you know, you're ranked at number 10 right now, and the division's not that big. But you have guys like Kai Kara France, Alex Perez, Asker Askarov. I don't know if I pronounced that right. But is there anybody on your radar that you would like to fight next?
It's hard to say. I've asked Mick Maynard for two fights, and I've lost them both. So I feel like it's my job to kind of take a step back, reinvigorate, let Mick Maynard do his job. He's the best matchmaker in the world. That's why he's in the position he's in, and it's up to me to kind of take a step back, see what's next. Let these guys do what they're supposed to do, and I'm just supposed to show up and win fights. It's not for me to call people out and put myself overextend myself.
Hmm. And looking back at your the start of your UFC career, you lost your two first fights in the UFC. But after that, you went on the tear, winning four fights in a row. Do you think there's something that you learned from those two fights that helped you revitalize your career?
Yeah, I mean, you just got to prove it to yourself. I've said it before. I think a lot of the issues I was having early on were due to me just being inside my own head and reaching and trying to make things happen when the best thing for me to do is to just fight and be myself. The way I've had to not only prove it to others but prove it to myself, and it's difficult. That there is no instruction booklet on how to do this. It's a day by day thing, and I'm doing my best. But I truly believe that I can beat anybody in the world. And it's just up to me to go out there and prove it. But I don't have to reach. I don't have to do anything crazy. I don't have to make it happen. I'm capable. And when I fight to my ability, we've seen the results.
Hmm. And you previously said that you were like a fan of MMA before you actually got into it. But, was there a certain event that you watched or a fighter that inspired you to go into MMA?
I've been influenced by a great many of these guys. I was in high school watching the WEC, dreaming of one day fighting in the WEC because obviously the lower weight classes were there. So,
Hmm.
I think my style has been greatly influenced by many of these guys. Dominic Cruz is somebody who I've tried to emulate over my career. And the list goes on and on. I'm a student of this game, and I see when guys do things well, and I do my best to understand it and then emulate it. And it's how I've created my style. And fighting's wonderful because I feel that there's not many things as self-expressive as fighting. Things you can think about,
Hmm.
art, music, things of that nature, where you can actually tell the story of who you are as you do it, and fighting is much like that. So, though I've been influenced by people, I fight like me, and that's the way it is.
Yeah, and looking at one of the best fights of the year, Cruz versus Cejudo. Who do you think takes that? You've got a lot of inspiration from Dominic Cruz, but do you think Henry Cejudo gets it done?
Well, I like Henry. I've been in Henry's camp before. I camped with him before he fought T.J. Dillashaw. Spent 6 weeks living with Henry, and really got a good understanding of who he is and how great of a competitor he is. Dominic Cruz is the bantamweight GOAT. I don't think many people really call that into question. I think it's a great fight. I look forward to it. It's hard to pick against Henry. I think that Henry is maybe the best competitor we've seen in the sport so far. He's a great competitor.
Hmm. For sure, man. And how do you feel about Cejudo kind of leaving the division? Jumping ship. He said that. I mean, he saved the flyweight division, but he kind of left it. So, how do you feel about his decision to move up and to defend there instead of at 125?
I don't blame him. If I was the champion of the world at the weight class, why cut more weight and suffer more to like? I get it. I understand. And Henry's a pretty big guy. It's a tough cut for him. So I understand why he doesn't want to punish himself and cut the weight. And I don't blame him. I don't blame him. But we'll see what happens this weekend. I wouldn't count out Henry Cejudo making a return to the flyweight division.
Hmm. And looking back at your career, you've had a lot of amazing performances. Is there a performance that stands out to you from the rest?
It's hard to say. I've had some good ones in there. I think I'm most proud of my Louis Smolka performance because I had a lot of respect for Louis Smolka, and really went in there and got it done the way that I knew that I could, and against a great competitor, a guy who I believe was a perennial top 10 guy. Whilst he was fighting in the flyweight division, I went up to the weight class, went up to bantamweight, fought him at bantamweight, and beat him handily. So, yeah, that's one I'm proud of, and I would have to say of my fights thus far, that's got to be my favorite.
Got it. And when did you adopt the nickname Danger? Like, was there a certain fight where you got that nickname, or did you give it to yourself?
My nickname,
What's the story there?
my nickname was given to me by my first MMA coach. His name is Brent Mason, guy in Shreveport, Louisiana, and he gave it to me probably about 3 days. I'd been training in the gym, and
Mhm.
yeah, I was just a spaz early on. I know it sounds cool, like Danger, like, oh, this guy's cool. No, but it was given to me because I was a spaz, and I was literally a danger to be around and train with. So over time, I've gotten a little better at being a training partner and a little less spastic. But that's where the nickname started, and I don't believe in giving yourself nicknames. I think that's some weak stuff.
And I just love that how you're putting like danger things into your Instagram accounts. It's a cool trend that's catching on. I like it.
I was trying to change my whole handle to Danger Things, but unfortunately, I couldn't get it on both Twitter and Instagram, and I didn't want to lose my blue check mark. So we're sticking with
Oh
Danger
yeah,
underscore Caged for now. So I think that's what most people know me as. So it is what it is. It is what it is.
yeah. And if you needed like another Photoshop of your face onto like a Stranger Things poster, you let me know because I did that Aladdin one for you and your teammates. I think that was one of my best
Dude,
shops for
that
sure.
was great, man. I was surprised that more people didn't enjoy that because I stand by it. I think the only mistake that the Aladdin franchise made was not casting me as Aladdin. And to be honest, like I think they went into the casting as like they were like, all right, we want somebody that looks just like Matt Schnell with a skinnier neck, and they nailed it,
How do you think you would sing the songs? Do you think you would be a perfect cast for Aladdin?
bro.
Maybe.
Don't make me go off on you. I can sing, I can dance, I can cook, I can clean.
Can we see you sing like a little song from Aladdin on here, or is that for another day?
Maybe another day. Maybe another day. Get me in a studio.
Got it, got it. And last question I had for you is, how many fights do you think it will take you to get a title shot against apparently nobody because Figueroa wants to miss weight?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I got to get back in there. Obviously, I took a pretty decisive L in my last one, and got to take it one day at a time, one step at a time. But I was on a 4-fight streak before I took that L, and I went out there and I fought my heart out. And I promise you, I'm never the type of guy that guarantees a win. I do my best, and I go out there and I put it all on the line. I'll do that every single time, and get on another 4-fight streak, and I don't think that they can deny me. Probably get on another 3-fight streak, and I'll probably be right there in the mix. So,
Hmm.
all the respect in the world to all the guys who have beaten me in the past. But there's not a man who walks on 2 legs who I can't put this right hand on.
Yeah, and I think Formiga, he's ranked number 3, I believe. I think he lost to Moreno. I think that would be a good fight, and it makes sort of sense in the rankings. But you got guys like Kai Car France. Would you be okay with fighting a teammate from Tough
20,
24,
24,
right?
24, that was it.
Yeah,
I was about to
24.
say 27, but no, it was 24.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, man, I think we all knew. We are all aware, and when we were in the house, we were all well aware that we could end up fighting each other. And this is for the division's sake. We're the best guys. We're the best guys in the world, and we knew that when we were in the house, and we all were well aware. Like, yo, we could run into each other someday down the line. And there's just nothing personal about this thing. I know a lot of people want to try and make it personal and run their mouths and talk about each other's old lady, but this isn't how I've ever gotten down. And it would be an honor to fight Kai Car France. It would be an honor to any of these guys in the top 15. I know the division is shallow, but I do believe that the best guys in the world are in the UFC. And there are a couple guys outside of it. And obviously, DJ. Adriano Moraes is a great fighter. All those guys in ONE FC could probably step in the UFC and compete. And honestly, that'd be great if we could get some type of crossover because I think I'm sorry, my mother called. I had to forward my mom. Sorry, Mama. I think between the ONE FC roster and the UFC roster, those are the two. Those are the best guys in the world. So any of these guys, it would be an honor. And I look forward to stepping back in there and continuing to put on for the flyweight division. I think obviously we go unappreciated and people think ridiculous things. But, come find me. Come tell me about it. A lot of people run their mouths online when they don't have to when they don't have to answer for the nonsense. But come say some stupid shit to my face, and I'll put this right hand on you too.
Man, that gave me goosebumps, man.
Good. I do believe that I have a gift of gab, and a lot of people think crazy stuff. That they think that we're many people. There are some small guys in this division, but man, if you've ever trained with a really good small guy, you know better. You know better than to say some silly shit. Because for me, it doesn't matter who I've ever trained with. People know that I'm serious, and if I hit you and I land one clean, it's going to feel just like anybody else. It's going to hurt. It's going to get your attention. Ask around about me. People say some crazy stuff about us little guys, but I can turn your lights out with one. I've done it before, and I can do it again.
Yeah, and I don't want to keep you away from your mom, but thanks for taking the time to come chat with us. I really appreciate it.
Dude, I'm enjoying it. Yeah. Feel free to reach out in the future. I'd love to come back and do interviews. I like your content. I think you do a great job. Also,
thank you, man.
Yeah. Hey, shoot me a dang hoodie. I'll rock it.
Yeah. I'll send you one.
Okay.
For sure, man.
Also, you're a supporter of my buddy Scrappy. Dustin Lampros.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I came up with Dustin training at American Top Team. We're quite familiar with each other, so yeah.
And Macy Chasson, right? I think she's from Louisiana.
She's a Louisiana girl. Yeah, I've been on the mat with her before. I've watched her train. Very impressive. Really, I think Macy Chasson is a future champion of the world, and Louisiana for the small state we are well represented, and I don't feel like it's something that's talked about enough. How well represented Louisiana is within the UFC, and I always root for people from my own place, obviously, and look forward to continuing to see her success. I think she is the future champion of the world. Andrea Lee, future champion of the world. Dustin Poirier, former champion of the world. Matt Schnell, future champion of the world.
And Dustin Lampros, future UFC bantamweight champion.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I'm going to end it now.
Thanks, brother.
Have a good one.
You too.
Have a good one.